That's weird. It looks a little different in there, like clearer somehow. Huh. Well, hey everybody, this is Out Reptiles. My name is Garrett Hartle, and I want to talk to you this week about how to ship live reptiles.
Dear Joe, you rock. This is D-Rock. Take good care of us. You guys can rock on forever. Garrett, Out Reptiles. Alright. Oh, got stickers. I like stickers. Oh, man. And a shirt. This is right there. Man, look at that guy.
Okay, so why on earth would I want to ship a live reptile with a mail carrier? Well, just like anything else in this day and age, it's becoming easier and easier to order things online. Now with reptiles, obviously as a live animal is during transport, that's kind of a tricky thing, but the huge advantage is this. It now enables you to buy an animal from literally anybody in the country. So you're able to support your favorite breeder and the efforts of the things that they're doing by giving them your money directly, and then they take an animal that's like their baby straight out of their home and deliver it to you. So there's connections being formed all across the country through this ability to do this. But if you're ever in the circumstance where you need to ship a live reptile, there's a few things that you should really consider. All right, let's go check them out. All right, now before I can get into like types of packaging or anything like that, we need to think about what is this snake going to go through during the shipping process. All right, here you have the breeder's house, facility, whatever it is, okay? And the little guy, Snakey here, lives in his enclosure. This is where we start, and obviously we're going to want to consider things like temperatures. All right, so let's say it's going to be 45 degrees. Then we want to consider the end game, which is the customer's house. Or let's say it's 70 degrees there, because I live in Pittsburgh and you live in California maybe, I don't know. So how is this snake going to get to the area that's nearest me? Let's say it's Pittsburgh. We have a hub near the airport. Do you think that it goes on a direct flight from Pittsburgh straight to the customer's house? No, it's going to have to go to a hub somewhere. So this thing travels somehow to the airport here. It's going to travel to a hub facility somewhere else in the country, and then it's going to go by airplane. It's got to be dropped off at an airport there, and then how does it get from the airport to that customer's house? Now this right here is a huge major step in the process that most shippers do not consider, and that's really unfortunate, because I'm looking at the temperature here now. It's 70 there. You know, it's supposed to be in shipment for about 18 hours, so divide that in half and adjust temperatures accordingly. But actually what's going to happen is, if I can drop this thing off at the last minute before it takes off, it still has to overnight at the hub. So in this scenario, it's going to be Indianapolis. I know that just from experience. If you use FedEx, the two major hubs are Indianapolis or Memphis. And you can actually go onto a website such as Ship Your Reptiles or wherever you're going to print your shipping label. And there's a part of that shipping label that has a code where it's going to actually tell you where this shipment is going to end up going, whether it goes to Indianapolis. I believe the shipping code will start with an N, and if it's going through Memphis, it starts with an X. I believe. So this temperature is going to be a big deal. If it's 15 degrees and that box goes pretty quickly to Indianapolis and then it sits there for 6 hours before it comes here, this snake is dead. Dead meat. Even though it never saw below freezing temperatures on either end. The other thing is, you want to make sure that you cut this section down, and you want to cut this part down from the hub nearest the customer to the customer. If you guys are receiving snakes and there's any way for you to pick it up at the hub, that's a great thing to be able to do. So if you live close to a major airport, it's likely that that's going to be your FedEx hub. But even if you don't, it pays to do a little bit of homework. You can probably find a place to pick this up and make sure that your snake has the absolute best care. I'll show you a little trick that I do that allows me to cut down on when I'm actually receiving a snake. I'm actually going to take you guys with me down to my local shipping hub. You've seen these guys in videos before if you've watched all of my different YouTube videos. The business is privately owned. It's called the Shipping Depot. When I ship animals, I'll bring these guys their favorite Starbucks drink. I find out what that is. I talk to them. You know, I just form a relationship with my shipping guys. And so where we're going right now to drop this box off is going to be with those guys. When people ship animals to me, I always have them shipped there because they come straight in from the hub, and if there's any issue ever, they've got my back. These guys are almost like part-time employees of mine because I explain to them the shipping process, what the animals go through. I've talked to them about ideal temperatures, heat packs, not getting too warm. So if I can't get down there right away to pick up the package, I'll call them up and I'll say, hey Jessica, hey Barry, do you mind opening that box for me? Just open it, pull the styrofoam lid off of the top, fluff everything out, give those snakes the ability to adjust to room temperature slowly until I can get there. Anyway, enough of that. Let's go say hey to Jessica and Barry. You know, the big thing is just play through your mind every step of the process that the animal's going to go through and try to plan accordingly for it. Okay, so that's going to handle this part of the equation. Now let's talk about the way we actually pack these things, because that's going to have a lot to do with it too. Okay. Here we are at what is my little shipping station, all right? This has all the tools I need to package something safely. Now, you might be thinking right off, Garrett, what the heck are you doing with this crazy box? It definitely looks a little bit different than your traditional shipping box, which might be something more like this bad boy, the venerable 12 by 9 by 6. But essentially these two boxes have the same thing. One of the things that you want to check for is the crush load, okay? A lot of this stuff is available on websites for how to ship reptiles, such as shipyourreptiles.com. Take a look at some tutorials and things like that. But this mailing box, this particular box that I've got, has the same strength as this box, and it is lacking the foam. But foam is easily picked up and cut. You can get the polystyrene foam. The foam is really important and it serves two purposes, okay? The first one, obviously, it insulates from outside temperature. The thickness of your foam can vary depending on how much insulation property you want. Now, really, I mean, thicker is almost always going to be better because you're controlling the temperature inside that box, hopefully anyways. If you do need to release any temperature, then you can drill air holes and still have the rest of the box be insulated so it can let excess heat out, for example. But you want to have a box that has a insulation on all sides, bottom, sides, top. You guys cannot, never, ever, 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 please never ship a reptile in a box that is not insulated. The temperatures are just too extreme. You got to remember, that thing might be sitting out on hot tarmac somewhere, cooking from the bottom, or in the back of the next truck, right by the doors in freezing weather. So you're going to really want to make sure that that box is insulated. I know it sounds basic, but I have received a lot of boxes that are not insulated whatsoever. So this is your outer container, okay? Now, the inner container is going to be something that the actual reptile is sealed in. There's a number of different choices, and they have different advantages, pros and cons. A snake bag is basically just a canvas sack for a hatchling python, this is gonna be a great size for like a little Superdwarf or something like that. Now the only thing with snake bags is, once they get inside the box, they're gonna move around, they can crush, especially if you have something else inside that box. Now when I ship a snake, I like to include maybe like a t-shirt, a couple of stickers in there. You know, I might throw some different promotional material in there for some stickers. I'll put some business cards in there. I like to make a handwritten note. But if you're shipping a lot of these and you put bags in there, what happens when that bag gets set like this during transit? All the weight crushes down to the corner, and you can actually have some guys, little dudes, getting crushed inside there. So you're gonna wanna use like a solid-sided container. One that the industry has used forever is the deli cup. Now you can see this one actually has vents along the top, and it'll have a tight-fitting lid. And these deli cups are stackable. You can put one down and put other ones on top of it and stack them up, and then put a bunch of different deli cups, you know, situated within. I can have a stack of 2 or 3 here, and here, and here, and here. And then each snake will only be able to move around within inside that box rather than the bags shifting all the way to the other side. But the biggest thing is not to crush those animals. They're going to be crush proof when you have them in a solid-sided container. So a deli cup is one that a lot of people use. With Superdwarfs, for example, and again, I'm trying to think of everything that my little snake goes through. I don't want them to be able to see each other through the deli containers as they're shipping, because a lot of times the extra movement that catches their eye is going to distract their attentions and stuff. So I actually use a solid-sided container like this one. This container is it's actually food grade, and it is moisture sealed on the inside, but I'll include my own vent holes in the container, and then I'm gonna put that lid on, and I just have to be absolutely sure that I secure it, and I do that by using electrical tape, and then I'll actually tie a bow around it, which also serves another purpose. I don't want this box to sit flat on the styrofoam on the bottom. I don't want it pressed flat against the top. If this box gets jostled and that thing's sitting flat, it's gonna feel every impact. So by tying a ribbon around there, it actually creates just a little bit of space between the box and the insulation below so that it can move and flex, kind of like the crush zone that is an important safety element in your vehicle if you were to get in a head-on collision. So I'm going to secure it that way, and on the inside of this container I use a coconut fiber husk, and a lot of times I'll put a paper towel underneath there as well, just so that if there's any moisture it soaks off, and that snake is not sitting in suboptimal temperatures in its own filth and its own moisture, because you want them to be as comfortable as possible. Let's go ahead and pack our little snake up, okay? Look at this beautiful girl. Pure Sulawesi, captive bred and born. You don't see those out there every day. Just a really, really nice animal. We obviously want to take care of an animal like this during the shipping process. So we would put this little girl in her container, and you want to use a tight-fitting container. I actually have multiple sizes of these boxes, and this larger box is probably a little bit larger than what I would use for her. The reason why is you want that snake to easily be able to spread itself out within the container so that if it's getting jostled, she's not sliding from one end to the next. Now the snakes I'm shipping are not a ball python. Ball pythons, when they get scared, they rock up and they would roll around in there. You really want a tight-fitting container or a very small deli cup or something of the like. But with a reticulated python, when they get scared, they sprawl out. And so that actually kind of helps the situation. Now, I would go ahead and take my tape and tape the edges, the seams, being extra careful to make sure they really seal well, and they also do not cover our air holes there, the vents that we put in there earlier. I'm gonna take this twine that I use, which I think looks cute, and I'm going to tie it up just so that if that tape ever does come a little bit loose, this twine will actually hold that box lid in place a little bit so that the tape can kind of recompress and continue to hold it, and it's just secondary to help that tape. But again, like I said, there's no way to set styrofoam flat on top of a big knot like this, so it's not going to have any problems as far as, you know, crushing that down. It's going to give it that extra crumple zone, top and bottom, so that it can move around. That crumple zone is very important. Now, obviously, you guys are probably thinking, okay, Garrett, your packaging's starting to look pretty cute, which I'm okay with. We're going to go ahead and take our box and set it in here. Maybe I have a shirt that I would like to include for this customer, and I use the shirt. I'm going to set this up accordingly. I want to show you this shirt actually has a pretty important purpose in keeping the box to one side. Got my little hot rod storage down here, guys. But I like to use this crinkle paper that's made for packing because it is just such superior. It can crush really flat if it has to and open up really wide if it needs to. So even if I can only get a little bit more in here, I like to do that, and I like to throw some over the top of the packaging there, okay? Now, I might throw in a couple of stickers. Maybe we'll drop a few business cards in there for Reach Out Reptiles. We'll toss those in there. You want to use a 40-hour heat pack at a minimum. You want to open this a couple of hours before you ship your shipment to allow it to charge up and actually be able to reach its full heated potential. Then what you want to do is secure it to the inside lid of your container, and this red stripe means that this side of the heat pack is the one that allows the most air exchange, which activates this, can reach into the heating element with the inside. Now you remember I said I use my shirt to keep this guy pushed up. What I would actually do is attach this kind of a heat pack right onto the very front corner of my container, so that when I went ahead and put the lid on, I'm gonna have my heat pack up here with air activation that's actually able to breathe through that packing material that I have, and my shirt pushing the snake away from it, and the snake at the far end of the box. That heat pack is not gonna be like belly heat. That heat pack is not supposed to be like the belly heat of the container where that snake might live. That heat pack is to generally just radiate the temperature up a little bit of that box. But by having the heat pack to the front and the snake to the back, I still do get a warm side and a cool side. But remember, these heat packs can actually reach temperatures of up to 150 degrees. So you really want to be careful and not place it in direct contact with your snake, allowing that heat to just slowly radiate throughout the box. And you're going to utilize the power of that insulation to make sure that the temperatures all throughout stay good. Now this box is ready to go. Well guys, I hope that helped you come up with at least a couple of ideas for ways that you can improve the quality of your shipping of live animals. If it's the first time you've ever done it, make sure to just go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section below, and I'd be happy to answer all your questions. You guys know I read and appreciate every comment down there, so hit the like button, comment below. It helps us improve our platform so more people can see these kinds of videos. And oh, I forgot to tell you, that secret sauce, why do I make my packages so cute? What does that even matter? Well, I think that if I put enough time and thought into helping you to feel good about your animal, to realize exactly how special it is when you receive a box from me, then you're gonna be that much more likely to take care of that animal for the rest of its life, because you can obviously see that I've been taking care of it to my absolute best ability here for the first part of its life. I mean, you guys, that makes sense, right? That if I love that animal that much and I entrust it to your care, it goes without saying that you should love the animal at least as much as I do and try to give it the best possible life that you're capable of. Am I right? Well, with that thought, I'll let you guys go. I hope you have a great weekend, and we'll catch you next time. All right. Take care. Have a good one.